Welcome back, my beautiful blessings. Today we're going to be doing my part 2 to my testimony series 2 out of 7, and this topic will be about my personal experience in toxic relationships, specifically one that was a year long. It was the most toxic relationship I feel I ever been in. I was dating this one guy. I was in the situationship, and it was a bit like complicated. We weren't together, but we were acting as though we were by doing certain things. And as much as we did, I would continually ask him, like, what are we? Are we together? Like, what's going on? And every time I asked him, it was never a direct answer. It was kind of like a no, but I still want you. And so it was just a lot of confusion going on there. And months went on, and I would ask the same thing, and he would give me the same response. And so that's when I realized that he was giving me mixed signals, because we would act like we were in a relationship, and when I would try to establish that, he wouldn't agree. So it was kind of like, okay, you're just playing games at this point. So then that's when I came to the conclusion. He was giving me mixed signals. So it was a thing where he would tell me one thing, but then he'll act another way, or one day he'll be like this way, and then another day he'll be another way. And I just had to educate myself, because I'm like, I know I'm not tripping. Like, how you gonna be calling me baby, this and all that, and then you sitting here telling me you don't want a relationship, right? The crazy part is, when I was looking on YouTube about the mixed signals, it was a video in the suggested videos, and it said narcissism, and talked about narcissism. And I'm like, first of all, I don't even know what narcissism is, but I'm like, I ain't dealing with no narcissist. And at the time, I really didn't even know what a narcissist was. So I'm like, I don't even, it ain't no point in me clicking on it, because I know I'm not dealing with a narcissist or whatever that is. Even I didn't think that I was dealing with these type of people. And narcissism is not just a word. It goes deeper than a word. It's the actions, it's the emotions, it's the experience you feel when you go through the things you go through with these people. I'm just saying that because many of us think that we're not narcissists, we're not dealing with narcissists, and that ain't got nothing to do with me. But the truth is, it may have everything to do with you, and you might not know it. So I just want to clear the confusion, clear the air, because I know it's people who are in these relationships, or even in family situations, which will be another video, that go through these types of things with these types of people. And it's a lot of unsaid things. And even the people who know about narcissism think it's, oh, like, yeah, you're so into yourself, this and that. But I promise it goes way deeper than that. And so it's like, even with people knowing, it's not all to what they can know about it. And to the people who know what the real deal is when you're dealing with narcissists and narcissism, kudos to you, because y'all understand how narcissists deceive you, and how they treat you, and how they act, and how at the beginning, everything was cool, and then all of a sudden everything going downhill, and you start to leave them, and they try to hoover you back, and it's a whole process. And so not many people know, and it's very complex. So to the people who actually understand what this is, kudos to you. And sometimes these are the relationships you consider to be the best relationships, the perfect relationships, the ups and downs, the ride or die relationships. This is not your everyday relationship. The things you experience in this narcissistic relationship is not the same. Like, yes, in a regular relationship, you go through stuff, you have arguments, but there's that knowing that, okay, we know what happened, and there's no twisting around, no lying, no confusion. You know what happened, and whether you guys agree to disagree or compromise, that's different, because in a narcissistic relationship, you go into the relationship addressing how you feel or addressing the situation, and all of a sudden either it's back on you, or they're saying like, you made me do this, or they're like just getting angry, or even picking out little things you say to argue about that as well. and they're just denying it. Even if it's evident, it could be proof that what they did and what they said is there, and they'll still deny it. And so it's like, it's confusing, because then it makes you second guess, well, did I understand that right? Did I see that right? And so it can be pretty complex. So this is not your everyday relationship, not a healthy relationship. And I can tell you that based off of experience, because I've been in both. I am in one that's a healthy relationship, and I know how that operates, compared to a narcissistic relationship that leaves you emotionally confused in this fog that just keeps building on, and just, you never get that closure that you need. Furthermore, let's get into the video. So in the beginning, we were workout partners, and my sister had a gym, so he would come over, we would go to the gym. And I remember specifically the first day, he was waiting on his ride to pick him up, and we were playing phase 10 until his ride came. And then there were subtle like camera pictures, like I was just taking a picture of like the cards, and I believe he took a sneak picture of me. And then he had took my phone and he put this name in on Snapchat. He took my phone and he put the words daddy on Snapchat with these hard eyes. And at the time, you know me, I'm like, whatever. You could already tell, like, you know, he was initiating something. So I'm like, okay, he wants me, but he's not saying he wants me. Let me just assume that this is what that means. So before you know it, we were in a relationship. I don't think it was even a week later that his little sister's birthday was coming up, and he was like, hey, do you want to come meet my family, all this and all that. And in my mind, I'm like, what? Like, you already trying to let me meet your family? Like, that's what's up. Like, it shows me that I just feel confident that you feel confident in me to bring me to your family, right? That's how I'm looking at it, not realizing that, okay, hold up, red flag. Why are you already, you know, getting me to meet your family, and you barely know who I am, and I barely know who you are? And so, and the funny thing is, we had known each other previously, but never to this degree. And so, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, boom, like, we already accomplishing major stuff. And that's what you would consider a milestone. Just to give you a brief background, once you hit that milestone, like, let's say he'll talk about moving in together, or he'll talk about getting married, or having a baby, or just something huge. That's a setting point in your life, that's a big transition. They know how to mirror you. They know how to be like, oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, I like this. Oh, you like that? They know how to collect that information, collect that data, and know exactly what you want to hear. They tell you what you want to hear in the beginning. Everything's going smooth. But that moment where you settle down, where you commit, boom, it's done. It's done. The narcissist in the beginning, he listens to you, you have those long conversations, talking about your lives, talking about your experiences. It's the lovey-dovey stage where you go on dates and be taken on trips and all this other stuff. Main tool of manipulation is love bombing. They will go all out during this stage. They will show you love. They will show you off. They will buy you gifts. They will show you attention. They will validate you. They will take you on dates. They may even travel with you, all in the beginning, plan a future, do all this. But sad to say, these things are temporary. Once you hit that milestone, just like in the Fall of Grace, whenever she was married to him, that's when he let the true colors out, because it's such a huge transition that if you were to come back from that, you look kind of crazy. Once you hit that milestone, whether it's meeting the family like I did, that's when a narcissist wants to let down at mask, because when they know you're in a place of love, which I was, I felt like, I'm already meeting the family, I'm in love with the family, they know me, I know them, like we here. Weeks later, that's when all the devaluing and arguments and just complications came in. And I would consistently tell him with certain things he did that he knew made me mad. I kept telling him, I'm gonna break up with you, like I'm gonna leave you, like we're done. I was consistently threatening the relationship in order to get him in check. And obviously when I wouldn't actually break off the relationship, it showed that what I said I would go against, depending upon the situation or even for him. And so it just showed that I wasn't keeping my boundaries in place with him being the exception. And so he was able to have control that way. So I was already breaking the boundaries I had set, and he knew that if I broke one boundary that I set in stone, that there's probably going to be other boundaries that I wasn't going to keep in place. And there was also like petty arguments, arguing over small stuff that led into bigger stuff and led into bigger stuff. And it was just so crazy because you would think like, who will argue over that? Most times it's like when you're doing good, when you tell them you're having a good day, or they know you are, you have some type of accomplishment and you tell them, it's like sometimes they'll try to steal that joy from you or even make it about them, and you're like, oh, I mean, that was okay. I mean, anybody could do that, kind of undermine your accomplishment or your goals or the fact that you're even happy. And so this isn't all the time, but sometimes they just like to play games. They like to play mind games, and so it can be a bit confusing, a bit irritating, but these people do it so much, and they also just love to give these backhand compliments. So they start doing these things to take down your self-esteem, your self-confidence. He wasn't appreciative of what I had done for him or what I had been doing for him, let alone don't let me be crying or don't let me be sick or down, because that's the time where they neglect you the most. Whenever you're sad or you're crying or you're sick, it's like they lack that empathy, and sometimes it might even make them mad. They're like, yo, why are you crying? Or you're overreacting, or you're tripping. And so it's like they're undermining your feelings, and then they're also playing with you, and they're saying like nothing's happening. And what makes it even worse sometimes is that you'll go to this person and y'all having a disagreement, and they might reach out to a friend or get an opinion, right? Let's say hypothetically that the person they reached out to has the same mindset, the same narcissistic mindset, and they reach out to them and they're like, yeah, dude, I don't see why she's tripping. I don't see what the problem is. But deep down inside that won't right. And so it'll have you thinking like, okay, when you address a situation, it's like, okay, am I overreacting? Let me check this again. Did I really see that right? You start to doubt, second guess yourself. And I had a lot of that going on. In arguments, they love to do a couple of things. They can either reflect the situation back on you, they can lie and deny even though the proof is there. And it's pretty crazy because sometimes I remember like, he'll be like, okay, well, if I said that, when did I say it, Maya? How did I say it? And I'll be like, I don't remember, and it made me even madder because I'm like, I really don't remember, but I know that's what you said. So it just be a whole situation, and that's again a part of the gaslighting, the manipulation, the confusion that goes on in those relationships. It was just a frustrating time for me. I mean, these relationships, they can make you a violent person. Like, I've never been a type to hit a man or throw his things, but dealing with these people, I mean, man, like, it can really, really make you violent. Because that time before his birthday, when he got mad at my necessities, the fact that I was just hungry and I wanted some food, it was an argument over something so simple, but it got so heated so quickly, and I was just like, I'm tired of this. And I was pointing. He was like, get your finger on my face, and I was just throwing his stuff everywhere. And I just remember leaving crying. I knew that it was time to go, and it hurt so bad to leave that relationship, because I felt like, well, yeah, I might not find anybody like that, and we've been through too much to let go. And it's like Alicia Keys said, I keep on falling in and out of love. Sometimes I love you, sometimes you make me blue, sometimes I feel good, at times I feel used. Loving you, darling, makes me so confused. And it couldn't be said any more better than what she said it to be. And the crazy part is, being with this person not only leaves, like I said earlier, so many emotional effects on you, but it leaves physical effects too. Like me personally, I know I was always in a state of defense because he was so quick to say something, or I would have to be like, no, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I did. No, that's not what I meant. Like, it was always being on the defense, so much so that I never had time to be on the offense, protecting myself, loving, nurturing, and caring for myself. And having that background of being codependent, well, it was always about putting others before you, always caring about others before you, always meeting others' needs before you. So that didn't help much, and finding my identity in this person by making them a better person, and so I was always on a state of defense, and I had a hard time with trust. I didn't like when men play games or joke because of the fact that every time a situation happened that we knew wasn't a joke, he would make it a joke and say, I'm just playing, I'm just joking. You really believe that? And I'm like, yeah, because you really said that, and I know that you really meant that, but then they'll turn around and act like they didn't, and just play these games with you, play with your mental, and get you all out of balance. What had to be done had to be done, and it wasn't easy to do, but I realized that I deserve more. And while at the time I may not have loved myself as much as I could or respected my boundaries enough, I knew it was time to go because I couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with all of the mind games. It was literally tearing me down, and I was losing myself. Like I said, confidence was here before I came in, confidence was there when I left out. And again, this is a series because I'm going into breakdowns, like, okay, what it was about, how it starts, how you feel, what is the difference between a toxic and a non-toxic relationship? How do you even know? Like, and then, okay, how do you leave? What if I don't want to leave? Like, that's all topics that I'm definitely getting on. And so it's a 7-part series. Stay tuned. I love you, beautiful blessings, and I hope this video blessed you. Later.